What? Wait, what? Help me! Help me! The sniper is shooting at me! Sniper! Yep, that's me. You may wonder how I got into this situation. I don't know.
I'm on the other side.
Oh no, I fell to the map. But let me tell you something. I made a lot of dumb things in my life. I tried to impress a girl the same way I was doing it with my buds by throwing a piece of stone as high as possible. I browsed the internet for things I shouldn't browse on a phone. I shared with my mom. I made a Twitter account. Although it isn't that bad, I found people with an unrivaled level of autism that exceeds mine. People that spend an ungodly amount of money on some trivial stuff, maybe even more than anyone could ever earn in a lifespan. And most importantly, the said communities which are allowed to be xenophobes to specific individuals without any repercussions because that's how the lore works.
Okay, but why are you telling me this?
Well there, viewer, it's because there is one community that encapsulates all of these attributes and I love it. No, I'm not talking about the fur community because here's the thing. Shit talking these people may result in a variety of outcomes starting from the symbols of disagreement with a stereotype or with a civilized discussion of my judgmental decision, which I'm okay with. However, I am not fond of having my IP address leaked and a pipe bomb delivered to my house because I, a normal human being with a valid point, told that one guy with shit-stained fursuit of a husky that looking at his anthropomorphic creation makes me want to. The community that I'm talking about is the Warhammer community. They're so talented and it's so satisfying to watch these people hyperfixated on their hobbies. Not anyone has the mental fortitude to play such a complex tabletop game longer than 3 rounds of Uno.
Give me a green card! What are you?
Or to paint such small miniatures. You might say it's not that bad. Games Workshop said that their average range is 28mm for the Warhammer 40K miniatures. Oh, you sweet, sweet summer boy. Have you ever heard of Legions Imperialis? Neither I, but to keep it short, they want you to have a much more epic scaled war. Because apparently this for some it's not enough. So they downscaled the fucking miniatures to the size of 8mm and you can also buy paintable miniatures. Say what you want, but that it's impressive. I cannot even color inside the lines of a kindergarten coloring book, let alone do it on some miniatures the size of a kidney stone. But I'm not going to talk about the tabletop games because we would be here for another several hours dipping our toes in the cold waters of the Warhammer iceberg. This franchise has its roots in a lot of medias. Miniatures, books, novels, animations, short films, and of course video games. And today, fellow rejects, it's time to tell you of a game that I might consider one of the most amazing co-op games that you should definitely give it a try. Warhammer 40K Darktide.
Darktide is a first-person co-
Sorry for that, I got something stuck in my throat. Darktide is a first-person action co-op hybrid horde shooter developed by the studio Fatshark based in Sweden, the same country that is well renowned around the globe for its culinary cuisine. It's safe and totally not hostile touristic attraction. And this guy, you might know Fatshark for developing highly acclaimed games such as Bionic Commando Rearm 2, Escape Dead Island. Oh, and the Rat Game number 1 and 2.
You know, I think this is a good time to,
Darktide takes the basics of killing the numerous armies of Skavens, Chaos, and Furries to the next level. Literally. Vermintide games are revolving around the melee combat than its ranged one, which made it stand out from its inspiration Left 4 Dead. But with Darktide, they would like, a lot of players gravitate towards elves, and we need to figure out how to stop bounty hunters from unloading shells into her just as she unloads her javelins into the dwarf. Oh, we got that taken care of in the 2023 rebalance patch. Okay, but that's not enough. What if the characters are fighting Nurgle worshippers in space? I'm listening. Darktide is similar to Vermintide when it comes to its gameplay, difficulty, and mastery, but is different in other aspects such as the fact that 75% of the population of Automa Prime is British, and the lack of rats. Alone or with up to 3 friends, you are put against the hordes of unwashed masses in a series of areas, and your job is to go around a hive tertium following the instructions assigned given by your Dollar Tree walkie-talkie. Before I talk about Darktide, I want to explain to the little Timmy on what lore is this game based on. Sooner or later, something will pique your interest, such as why is my zealot that got his shit slammed by an Ogryn with a concrete hammer not dead yet? Why is my weapon appraised by a bunch of transhumanists with red pajamas? And most importantly, why everyone is racist to psychers? The story is based on the grim dark future setup of Warhammer 40K, where everyone hates everyone and they're all sent to fight in a pointless, pungent war. So if you're living in Russia, then you'll feel like at home. Oh god. I hear you, and to that I say, which one? There are 4 gods that are all equally chaotic. Quick test, which one of these 4 look the least threatening? Obviously, I can already tell that you got the wrong answer by choosing the hottest out of all. But truth is, all are as evil as they can get. It's just like different flavors of pride. No matter what you choose, it will all end with cardiac episodes. Only a single person can save the humanity from these evil forces of Ganon. And one day, a buff gym rat made his presence and flexed on everyone that decided to pick a battle with him. This episode of a unit god-like entity is none other than the Emperor of Mankind. He hates being called a god, but I guess people decided to do so anyways. There's a shit ton to talk about, but I'll just jump to the part that we care of. He's mortally wounded in a battle with my boy, and in order to not die and keep this one portal open for the Imperium to use for the space travel, he has to sit on this thing called the Golden Throne and stay there for millenniums, just like a speedrun sitting in his beanbag preparing for the annual charity event. Now you know too well how hungry you can get for just sitting. I'm even finishing 2 bags of Haribo little jelly babies, and I'm not even talking about the game itself. But unlike the usual diet of a college student, which consists of potato chips and soda, the Emperor has to eat hundreds or even thousands of psychers daily in order to not die. He doesn't actually eat them because he's a corpse, but he's plugging them in the throne like batteries. Very short-lived batteries. Now keep in mind, this throne helps the Emperor to keep the doorway shut from the warp. Oh, I have to explain you what the warp is now, do I? In short, it's bad. This is where the IRS comes. But that doesn't stop the thousands of intergalactic Xenos and Chaos threats that seek to dominate, enslave, and eat the human world. And this is where you come into the equation. You are a reject that have been put into gay baby jail for a crime that you may or may not committed. My favorite being that the principal heard you saying that the food you had for lunch tastes like someone died in it. And the truth is, he's damn right. Corpse starch is made out of dead humans, and the citizens of the Imperial Hive Wards ate that for years. You know what they say?
Shadow, you're an asshole, man. You are what you eat, Sonic.
However, you are given a second chance, not because you promised to suck off the Emperor, but because the space heisters decide to take a specific prison out of captivity and blow your cage up. Fast forward some killing. You manage to save and escort your sedation difficulty explicator Zola to the escape shuttle. And just like that, you get into the Morning Star, where you'll be put into missions after missions to prove to everyone that what matters the most is to serve the Emperor of Mankind. And also rations if you're playing Ogryn. Speaking of Ogryns, in this game you can choose to play with one of the 4 classes that can have a variety of personalities and backstories.
Strange life. Not part of the Astra military. You want to win. You send for the biggest, meanest and angry.
Not sure how I got here. Never own.
don't much care.
such as home planets, childhood, defining moments, none of them which will be discussed in game by the rejects. Zealots are unwavering pre-subscribed to Emperor's OnlyFans, and their mission is to serve him by killing anyone that has a different opinion. Their faith is so strong that it actually empowers them with holy wrath and would allow them to sustain hits that would normally kill a mere human being. Veterans are trained soldiers that used to be part of the Imperium Guard, either spray or pray or killing high priority targets. You should definitely blame them first for not finding any ammo. Bonus points if they pick Cadia as their home planet and the cutthroat personality.
I watched the world die. 8,000 years of defiance gone in an eye blink. And with it, went some of the finest soldiers I had the honor to serve alongside. See anything that isn't one of us, look, you put it down. Nothing like a killing spree to shake the cobwebs.
Psykers are space wizard freaks that
blows up mind with mind. Fucking mind.
they are generally feared by everyone because it's enough to show them the brain rot from YouTube shorts to summon a demon from the war through his brain and decimate the whole planet. Although in-game it's not that dramatic. And finally, Ogryn are the result of a game of will you press the button? They are tough, buff, loyal men that are even tougher than super soldier space marines. The downside is that your IQ is lower than the average room temperature. However, they're compensated because they are the most lovable app humans will ever meet.
Oh, I had a terrible thought. What if I had dreamed of the dreamer?
Dreams are always end.
My personal favorite. After you finish matching the inside with the outside, you are dropped into the Morningstar. In here you can do some exciting activities, such as watch this guy wipe the permanent marker stain off the floor, console the Joe Biden battle pass, talk with Grandpa Milk and help him do his homework in exchange for some crypto coins that are used exclusively to get his mostly bad rolls, the Thunderate toaster, this fuck about why she's giving all our money to the CCP, the bootleg medic from TF2, and of course the mission terminal where you play the game. There is no option to play exactly what you want, promoting a diverse and engaging gameplay cycle.
That's bullshit, by the way.
In Vermintide, you can go to a map or press a shortcut button to open the menu, choose exactly the mission plus difficulty, and either join an existing match or create a lobby where people can join. Speaking of shortcuts, there are none for the vendors in the Morningstar, and that means exactly what you think it means. You need to run or walk, depending how insane you feel, to the point of interest, and after you're done, you have to go to the mission terminal and choose a mission. This used to be worse in the past. In the place of the commissary, instead was the armory exchange, where you could usually buy a single weapon because majority suck donkey dick, walk all the way to where the shrine is, have your weapon fucked with the worst perks and blessings, and then while waiting you'd play a mission, and no matter if you win, fail, or abandon the mission, you'll be put at the spot where you open the game. At least you're not skipping leg day. Today things are slightly more streamlined. Armory and the shrine are next to each other. Front sells you the exact weapon you need as long as you have enough order dockets. When you finish a mission, you'll be placed close to the mission terminal, which is also close to the previous two vendors, and the things that are not used as often are placed to the left side of the Morningstar. Crafting still sucks monkey dunk, but we're getting that reward.
After summer.
The reason why I told you about all of this is to explain that fart shard games are undercooked when they get released. Vermintide went through the exact same path, but today is a decent game. Although they are slow as molasses, pushing fixes and changes that don't affect the paid cosmetic shop, but credit is given where it's deserved. They can cook some real damn good things. Even with that, I won't stop complaining of things that have to be addressed, and there are still plenty.
Why is your level higher than 30? What is with that 4 out of 4 and that red number next to your crosshair? Why is your HUD more detailed? Are you using mods in a game review? That is disingenuous to the viewers. They are expecting the game as it is. Come to think of it, I heard that a lot of mods for Darktide are like cheats and you shouldn't be allowed to play. Unsubscribe, unliked, uncommented, don't reproduce.
Yeah, according to your statement, people that reviewed the game when it was first released should do a revision because back then they complained of the lack of promised crafting system, and now we have it. Majority of what mods you see in my footage are quality of life, most that were also in Vermintide 2. It is a true fat shark moment when you create a new game and it lacks the basic functions already existing in your previous titles. You know, the ability to block while opening chat or alt-tabbing, seeing a more detailed UI, stacking all elite and special kills into one kill feed line, favoriting items, hop shortcut keys, the ability to say yes or no, a simple fucking
ping monitor.
And some of these official features from Vermintide 2 were initially mods by the community, so chances are that these Darktide mods could get added, such as contract overlay, spectator HUD, and character screen wallets. If you still think that using quality of life mods invalidates the review for this game, well, I have one single thing to say. Fellow rejects, Pregnant Reactor. The mission terminal gives you a variety of destinations to choose from. You can either pick a mission in particular or quick play. Difficulty ranges from enemies hitting you with confetti to, oh my god, where the fuck did all these rangers spawn? This game, like many others, has a game director which adapts the flow of the game so that the strike team doesn't fall asleep. Usually the game is not cheap until he decides to spawn an enemy in the corner of your eye. In that case, it can go fuck itself. It also likes to punish players that are overextending or that are left behind by spawning special units to incapacitate them. More on that later. While traversing the mission, you'll find patrolling, wandering, or idle enemies called Heretics. Enemies are classified as hordes, or infantry if you're coming from Vermintide, which are the easiest to deal with. Elites are basically upgraded bruisers and stalkers, which themselves are upgraded groaners and poxwalkers. And then the specials are specials. Whenever they spawn, walk, or attack, they play a sound so that you know how appetizing you are. They range from those that do area denial, group disruption, disable you, or corrupt you by reducing your maximum health.
Well, I deserve this. What the fuck?
And then there are the big boys called monstrosities, which are your bosses. Your first interaction with a monstrosity would be, there are 4 in total. However, most say that there are 3 because if you have the unparalleled ability given by the God Emperor himself, you will see the schizo on the floor and hopefully not walk over like the dumbass I am. No matter what they are, they deserve the God Emperor's mercy. To do that, you'll use one of the many melees and guns your character has access to. And when I say many, I mean there are a large variety for all the rejects. Knives, swords, clubs, shovels, axes, and the comically large chainsaws. When it comes to guns, we have the typical FPS stuff you expect. But because this is Warhammer, you get things like a staff, flamethrower, plasma rifle, and obviously we cannot forget the bulky, the stupendous, the voluptuous bolter. It's more of a grenade launcher than an autogun that shoots an explosive that after
Penetration.
it explodes. This is something that the game suffers from. Some weapons look like they will break more than just the Geneva Convention, but they are nowhere near as strong as they should be.
Stupid dog! You made me look bad!
Or there are others that do the better job. This boulder doesn't kill this enemy with one headshot at the highest difficulty, but a revolver that's 5 times smaller can. I have to remind you, this can change.
They absolutely munted the flamethrower,
But in hotfix they buffed it. After all, who's gonna pay for their premium cosmetics if there's no one left to buy them? The combat feels amazing. You swing your weapon and it hits. I said it hits. I said if you come from a game in which you could headshot someone by hitting them in the balls, then this will take a bit of time to get used to it. Each swing of your melee that cleaves through a horde will bombard our private brain with serotonin. And you have so many different ways to handle the enemies. Shoot, blow, burn, stab, slash, bash, push, counter. And of course, if you're going to kill hordes of hundreds or even thousands of enemies, you're going to need some music to go with that. And Jesper Kid doesn't disappoint. It is so good that you could use the music outside the game. It will empower you. You got homework to do, Mobian Domain, or Atoma Prime. You're working out, Immortal Imperium, or Imperial Advance. Chasing woman that died.
well, that's a good variety you can get from the game. But I want more!
Don't worry. Well, in the Morningstar or the Psychiatry, you can open your inventory and go straight to the talents, and damn, look at this! You got a whole ass skill tree where you can mishmash any combination of nodes to create your perfect playstyle. The important ones are Blitz, Auras, Abilities, and Keystones.
Peter, what are you doing?
Crack.
What the
Each branch can be considered as a subclass of your character, but with this much diversity you can create subclasses. Sure, you can play as a zealot that is designed to kill elite specials and armor. However, you can build a Frankenstein of a glass cannon that can demolish the Tower of Pisa with only a swing of a hammer.
Damn, Daniel!
Or instead of giving into your hematolognia desire, you can become a phlebotomist. Instead of creating a bleed crit build to do shit ton of damage, you can put those crits that can be earned through the bleed build to a more support-oriented build. Or if you're a misanthropist, have social anxiety, or both, you can play as that fucking zealot that I hate, which usually rushes ahead and dies like
fucking zealot that I hate. The fucking zealot that I hate.
And to top this up, before going to mission, you can see that some have modifiers that make the game harder in different ways.
And if you really want something hard,
You can play Maelstrom or Orc Maelstrom that include unique modifier combos. When it comes to characters, we're not playing as the heroes of the story. In Darktide, you play as a convict. Well, at least that is what Fat Shark did. People criticize this approach to not be that interesting because there's no character development and such. To these individuals, I would like to say, my brother in
God Emperor.
you were a prisoner. If it wasn't for the gender reveal back there in the prison ship, you would have already been fertilizer. When you're going into missions, you're not expected to go with the same convicts every single time. You, like many other degenerates, are fighting in a big war against the Discord moderators of K. Sure, once in a while you might be put in the same mission with Daddy Grimgar, but that's on rare occasions. The character interaction is like the one in DRG. In both games, you're playing as a person that has to listen to a higher up and do their chores. The difference is that in one you play as a typical 21st century corporate slave, and the other one as a farmer during the 1348 Victorian England pandemic. Even though there is no per se relationship between characters in Darktide, there are still thousands of party banter lines that they keep adding on every now and then.
This is a good day. Match fighting.
You just don't give up, do you, big man?
Group, do not know the meaning of the word surrender. Cannot spell it either.
Copy that.
Great shame.
We just come through here.
Turn off. All looks the same to me.
So you're lost too.
Everything else is in the wrong place. Not me.
You know, I almost think of you as family.
Really? Cool.
Adopted family, obviously. A charitable case, rescued from the gutter. But family, nonetheless.
Get away!
Emperor!
Of course! What a foolish question!
Does Emperor love you?
Master of mankind, lover of...
How does he know?
Look, more heretics to slay!
I will kill them all. So Emperor loves me even more.
The story of this game is almost non-existent if you are not interested in doing some additional homework, something that most of us stopped doing after they finished middle school. There are Vox transmissions, Zolo's journals, walls of text that gets released between or when an update happens, but the story progression is and I'm talking about the pre-2021 Rose update. So it goes something like this.
Welcome to the Morningstar. Remember where you came from? Yeah, so better go into mission so I can trust you.
Oh, you don't look like much, but whatever. I don't trust you, so chop chop, into missions you go.
There is a lot of work to be done and I still don't trust you, but if you feel like wasting your time on some money only this old fart is interested, you can help him out.
There is a DeviantArt artist on the ship which draws so poorly it makes people go insane, so you can help us by earning more trust. Also, did you know that Among Us is 3 years old by now? I will remind you of your poor sense of humor by wording 2 of my sentences accordingly.
What are you doing here? What do you mean a green floating box said that you've been summoned to the hangar? Oh, I have to say my Mentador narrative that we don't trust you, so yeah, work on that.
Hello, Violet. I don't trust you. Goodbye.
Yo, check this shit out. Oh, by the way, we still don't trust you, so work on that.
In the end, the person selling you colored weapons is found out and, let's say, rehabilitate.
Yeah, that.
Your reward? More work in a frame! The last point I want to go over are the cosmetics. 25% of the free cosmetics are decent and 50% of the premium are good. See the problem? You're spending hours of your life to collect order dockets to buy cosmetics that are either the same thing but instead of a knife holster you got 5 pockets where you put your
Nothing.
or they are recolored. And of course the premium cosmetic can get the same treatment. The way the shop works is on a FOMO principle. Not FUMO, FOMO! One is a bad practice and the other is a mental sickness. Every 2 weeks you get the set of new cosmetics for each class. You have 3 pages worth of refreshes and the next time the shop changes, the one from the most right stops being sold. Can I ask Fat Shark one question? Why can't we just buy the cosmetics we want in from a catalog with the exact amount of money like in Vermintide? You know why? So they can force you to buy more Aquillas. It means you have to pray to the Emperor that they re-add previous cosmetics that you really wanted. After this many months, I'm still molding because they cannot simply add again the fucking cheetah pants I wanted for my Ogryn. And you know what? They will in a month or 2 or even 3 years, but then it will only be the pants, which mind you, they are part of a full set called Flash Grub the Fixer that not only had 3 cosmetics but also 2 weapon skins and a
7th finger.
And speaking of weapon skins, you'd have 8 weapon texture skins for 800 Aquillas. That is a weapon skin for 50 cents and they don't want to sell cosmetics or weapon sets as they did before. Now they charge you $3 for a weapon skin. Yes, this can be upsetting, but in the end, these are all cosmetics. You can play the game with a prisoner outfit. If you have game knowledge or if you're good at this game, you don't need any flashy fancy cosmetics to show that you can contribute to the success of your team. Oh, let me go. No. Oh my god, fuck you, trappers! Oh my... I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a whale myself, although I'm only buying what I like for Ogryn because I like Ogryn. And not only that, I like playing Darktide. This game is a gem covered in shit. Underneath the layers of bacteria, biomass, protein matter and fat, there's still a jewel. The gameplay, it's amazing. The art and music slaps. Character barter is enjoyable, but unfortunately it's neglected. As I said before, Fat Shark can do some really good stuff and I believe in their ability to improve this game as they did with Vermintide. However, they're too slow, they're hemorrhaging players and I don't want this game to end up as a lost opportunity to create one of the best co-op horde shooters games out there. But is it worth it to play Warhammer 40K Darktide? My answer would be a resonating yes. If you're willing to dig past the obvious bad things, you will find something that can be amazing. Well there fellow rejects, thanks for reaching this far. I had a lot of fun editing this video and I hope it stimulated the zoomer audience that accidentally stumbled upon this content. You see, I have something in common with a lot of you, especially with the 14-year-old voluntarily working in my cellar. And that is, we're more or less perfectionists. He's working hard under the influence of many narcotics to create art. In my situation, I don't have that luxury of digesting such substances, so instead I have my alternatives. G Fuel crack. I chuck that down like some do with Edmund McMillan's $2,000 bathwater. Instead of flight or enhanced vision, it allows me to lock in on the videos instead of spacing out and laughing like a dumbass at my own jokes for hours. Consider fueling my addiction by doing all the things that will please the YouTube overlords. Now excuse me, I have to go and check up on the child to make sure he doesn't overdose again on benzodiazepines. Until next time.